All right, so today I want to talk about the topic of dimensions. And so, what I would say is that a lot of people use the word dimensions incorrectly. They use dimensions as if the word means world, but it doesn't. Or, let's just say, if the word dimension means world, then, or universe, then it's losing its meaning. It's losing its distinct function. We already have words that mean those things. So dimension needs to have a distinct meaning. Then you may ask, what is the distinct meaning of dimension? So basically, I'll describe a dimension as kind of like a quantifiable line. So let's start with the things that are more relatable, the three dimensions of space and time. So we can, whether we're doing it in an angular or linear way, the three dimensions of space, we can always reduce those into quantities. So if it's in a linear space, we just need one point of reference, and we have to set the first line that will stretch out in a straight way, and the second line will be perpendicular to that, and then the third line must be perpendicular to both of those, and that is enough to make dimensions. Those by themselves constitute three dimensions of space. So this is something we already covered in geometry class. But then the dimension of time, let's just say if we have the three dimensions of space and we have the dimension of time, that becomes something we struggle to represent visually. I've seen people try, but it's not straightforward. Now, people seem to really struggle with this concept of the time dimension, and it is true. Like time is a dimension, as much as space. Any of the three spatial axes are dimensions. But that doesn't mean we can travel back in time, because traveling back in time means reversing causality. And I think that this whole time travel thing is kind of a fantasy. It's with very psychological human roots to it. So it seems that people often regret their actions, or they think that things could have been better if they happened differently. They're not trusting God's plan. So they think, oh, I should travel in time, and something like that. And then things would be better if I took some intervention, if I made an intervention into the past. But it just breaks the laws of reality. I tried to think through this paradox myself, and you can have different models. So I'm going to speak on this a little more. So people will say, some people believe or will imagine that if you do time travel, then a new universe is created, or if there is particular events or decisions happening, that new universes are being created. And that may be true in the imaginary sense, like you might imagine that happening, and that's useful for a thought experiment. But for that to literally happen, that would require basically matter to be generated from nothing. And so, I'm willing to believe that God created matter from nothing to generate this universe we have through divine intervention. But I'm not so easily convinced that much level of creation, if not more, is happening multiple times every second. Along the lines of some principle that we came up with. To me, I don't think that's a very defensible metaphysical proposition. Now, if you got some good argument for why that would make sense, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'm not going to say it's a fight, but I'd be curious if you have a good argument. Now, there's a lot more I could say about this, but I think it's going to be time to cut this off for now. So, thank you and goodbye.